What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Life of a Car Guy podcast. I'm your host, Pete, the Car Guy. Thank you so much for joining me on yet another beautiful Saturday morning. Can't wait to get started. So, you know how we do, guys, how we kick it off. We're going to go on with the What's Going On segment. Talk to me so you can see what's going on, what's going on, what's going on, yeah, what's going on. Hey, listen, this is our 10th podcast. So, yay, today marks number 10. So, thank you guys for being with me so far. This is just the beginning. I'm so glad that I've had so many people like and comment. And for those that subscribed, I really, really appreciate it as well. Thank you again for checking out my videos. I really appreciate it. We're going to keep it going and keep it growing. So, again, thank you for that. So, our next Take the Wheel segment is in the works. It's probably going to hit probably in April. I already have my guests lined up. I will tell you more about it in the very near future. And it's someone that has actually been integral in introducing me to the car business himself. So I can't wait to get that recorded and going. More details to follow on that. The speaking engagement that we were scheduled to have this past Thursday, unfortunately, we weren't able to complete. That's going to be rescheduled for another time. So once I get that going, I will let you guys know that as well. Okay. So at any rate, just want to let everybody know, continue to check out the website. It is in a beta version, meaning it's under construction now. Hopefully we'll get it straightened out and revised and looking really good, but you can still go to it and still access it. It's www.lifeofacarguy.com. Check it out. Check out the blogs and also continue to send me feedback and information. Okay. So Industry in the Streets is up next. So Automotive News, which is a major publication in the automotive world, just announced this past Thursday on March 26th that Hyundai is set to launch their plans to be 80% in terms of capacity in the US, in terms of vehicle production and vehicle supplies, parts, and everything else. So that's set to happen and to go into full effect by the year 2030. Hyundai has also announced that they're going to have a lineup of at least 36 automobiles in their overall product lineup. That's more to come here in the next future. So we'll see how that goes. My personal and professional opinion on that, I think that's awesome. Hyundai has come leaps and bounds over the many, many years since they were first introduced in the US. And they have definitely been an industry leader in design, innovation, as well as affordability. So that is going to be great to see. And hopefully, with the growth in that, will mean more jobs and occupations here in the US. So looking forward to that to keep growing and going. So now, topic of discussion. We're going to end off the month segment of the cars that I have owned that have been near and dear to me over the years. So I wanted to finish it off with two vehicles, and I saved these for last specifically because it took me some growing and some understanding too. Over the years and being in the car industry, I've always been a little fearful about German vehicles with respect to the cost, upkeep, things like that. But I have to share, I've had two different experiences with two different German vehicles that were absolutely outstanding and were just unexpectedly a pleasant surprise. So I can't wait to share those two with you. I'm going to start it off by introducing you to the first of those, which is the 2001 Audi A4. So this is what it looked like when I purchased it as a 2001 Audi A4 four-door automatic. This was a really, really fun vehicle. I purchased this back in the late spring of 2016. And this was purchased right around the time where I was working as a internet sales consultant with Colonial Hyundai, used to be Gateway Hyundai, down in Chester, Virginia. And I got to tell you, I was a little leery about it only because, I hadn't really seen it yet. I was getting some things fixed up. But once I finally got the keys and was able to drive it and to see it, I instantly fell in love. It was a just a very high, peppy vehicle, very torquey. The fit and finish of it was just beautiful. It was a beautiful black finish with the beige leather interior, and it had the sunroof where it had the dial where you can kind of stop it on different settings, which was pretty cool. And I just remember not only how peppy it was, but how well appointed it was. I mean, like I said, leather, sunroof. It just had a beautiful sound system to it. It was a lot of fun to drive. And quite frankly, I did not experience a lot of mechanical issues with that. Sad to say, one morning I was going to work. I was driving down 95 South, and unfortunately, someone jumped in front of my lane and stopped short, and I ended up smashing right into them and totaling the vehicle. This was maybe about 2 years after I had owned it, and I was pretty sad and pretty pissed off about it personally because the vehicle had no problems. I mean, it was just a really wonderful riding vehicle. Even had backup sensors, which was pretty interesting for a vehicle at that age to have that. But it was just a really fun vehicle and extremely torquey and peppy. So you know how we do, guys. We're going to go through the rating system for this particular one. So let's start with durability and reliability. So I'm going to give this a 4 car rating. Now, let me explain why I'm doing a 4 car rating instead of five. It was definitely a reliable vehicle, and it was definitely durable. It kept me safe. The only reason why I don't give it a five is unfortunately because of the age of the vehicle, and at the time, back in 2016, a lot of parts and things were just not available to try to fix it. And even though it was a total loss, I just didn't have access to a lot of the things that I wanted to really get it fixed up. So the durability, like I said, it kept me safe. It was a very reliable vehicle for what it was. It just didn't have all the things that I need to try to salvage it. And that's no fault of the vehicle itself. It's just unfortunately just an older car and just lack of a lot of the parts that I needed. So that's the only reason why I'm giving it a 4. Fuel economy was also rated as a 4 car rating. Premium gas, a little bit higher. Even though it was a smaller vehicle, it would average about mid 20s city highway respectively. A lot of the sedans, even the sporty or sports sedans, kind of were closer to the 30s on the highway and a little bit higher average overall between city and highway. And that specific one was a 4 cylinder, not the 6 cylinder, but it was a decent vehicle. I mean, it did compensate for having a smaller tank, so the fuel ups weren't as expensive if it were a larger tank. But that was the only knock on it. But nothing other than that, that was it. Performance, forget about it. It's got to be a 5 car rating for me on that. Like I said, it was extremely torquey. It gave me a lot of great acceleration on the lower torque ends of the RPM. So if I'm cruising at 50, 55, and all of a sudden I need to get around and whip around into the left lane and give it some power, it just delivered it seamlessly. So no knocks on that, whatever. It was a great ride. Quality of drive and just overall ride quality, definitely a 5 star, 5 car rating on that. The ride on that in various elements, even on gravel, highway, cobblestones, it handled very well. Being that it was an all-wheel drive, and actually my first all-wheel drive sedan I ever owned, it was very sure-footed. I remember driving it during the winter time, and I remember going through some icy spots. Mind you, FY, don't ever, accelerate through ice, obviously, but in those times where I hit some ice, it was just really sure footed. It delivered just a standout ride and was definitely planted on the road. So overall, because I just had to give it 2 4 ratings, I'm going to say it's between a 4 and a 5. I'll probably lean more towards the 4, just for the availability of parts. was the only major issue that I had once it was in that bad accident, and then just the fuel economy overall. But it was a wonderful vehicle, just absolutely wonderful vehicle. I know a couple of guys that still have those. One guy um, that I know specifically, he owns a 6 speed, and his was a 6 cylinder, and I think he still has it, and he's got like well over 350,000 miles on his. But awesome cars, awesome cars. All right, so let's talk about the next vehicle. This next one was kind of a surprise for me because I had never owned a BMW before. Always loved them, loved how they looked, loved what the stories you would hear behind them. They're just a statement vehicle, right? Definitely of status and whatever. But it was one that I had to see for myself. This one was the 2006 BMW 530 Xi 4 door. This was an inline 6 cylinder. And I bought it during my tenure when I was selling cars here in the west end of Richmond back in 2019. This one I was a little bit more wary of, and let me tell you why. When I bought it, it had 205,000 miles on it. Now, conventional wisdom would tell you on a higher mileage vehicle, especially a German vehicle, those you have to be very, very careful about because they do get somewhat pricey. They can be somewhat pricey with respect to upkeep, maintenance, finding parts, as I found out with my Audi. And, one of the things that I was really, really wary of was I was not able to get to the previous history records. But I did some digging on this particular model. And this particular year for the 5 Series, especially the XI inline 6 cylinder, was a very, very good year. In Consumer Reports, one of the things that they reported on this particular model was that its ease of use and the durability, the reliability, but also it had very few problems per 100 incidences. Now, 2002, BMW introduced the 745 series, 745i and 745xi. That 745 had multiple electronic issues. I remember a friend of my father's bought one brand new off the showroom floor in 2002, and his whole CPU unit shut down on him while he was driving down the highway in Roanoke. And he ended up paying. Fortunately, he was under warranty, but afterwards he kept it, and then ended up paying a goo gob of money because it had a reoccurring electronic issue. So I know that there was a Consumer Reports bad buy on that particular version back then. But the mainstay for BMWs have always been the 3 Series. Those are the ones that are the moneymaker because of the price points and just the availability. This particular 5 Series, the way it was built, the way the engine was constructed, transmission, everything was strong on this. So I did a lot of research and I had a couple of people talk to me about it, and I just took the plunge. And I got to tell you, I'm so glad I did it because not only was it a great ride and excellent performance, but it lasted extremely long and very well. The only thing that I had to do was to do a tune up. I remember one day where it was kind of hesitating a little bit and I didn't know why. And I had a friend of mine who was also an avid BMW lover and really, really good with, fixing and upkeeping BMWs. His name was Twan Bridges. And Twan, I told him what had happened. And he said, you know what? I know exactly what it is. You just need to change all your spark plugs. And I think I paid like $100 for 6 spark plugs. And I think I treated Twan to some dinner or whatever. And he basically changed out all my spark plugs for me. And it ran, when I say it ran like a top, it was like it never happened. But wonderful, wonderful vehicle. It was definitely well kept. I was able to find out that the previous owner did all the routine services like clockwork, and he did it at a dealer locally here in Richmond. So it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. And the Audi and the BMW overall opened up my eyes to the world of the German vehicle. not only are these vehicles considerably reliable, they actually do very well gas mileage wise, more so than what we would think. The BMW, one of the things I saw, I could fill it up and off one tank. I could go about 500 to 530 miles off of one tank. That was very impressive to me. And since then, I've had the opportunity of demoing a lot of different German vehicles, and I've experienced the same thing. And like I've told you before, one of my blog stories had the opportunity to drive a newer Audi A6, and it gave me 650 miles of a full tank from full to empty, going from Richmond to Huntsville, Alabama. So yeah, there you never don't knock it till you try it, right? So it's just one of those things where I'm so glad I had the opportunity to do that and to own these vehicles because it really opened up my eyes to the German automobile. So it's a wonderful thing. So let's go ahead and start with the ratings. So durability and reliability, I'm going to go ahead and give this a 5. And the reason why is even at 200 plus thousand miles, proper maintenance and upkeep throughout, this particular year range and model was a good one to do, and it was a good one to take a chance on. And it worked out pretty well in my favor. The only thing I had to do was to change out the spark plugs, but otherwise, all the other maintenance, oil changes, and things, it was awesome. No question about it. Definitely a wonderful vehicle to own. Fuel economy, I'm going to give this a 4 because of the premium gas 6 cylinder. This one averaged in the mid 20s. I think the best I got overall was about 26 miles per gallon, and that's city highway combined. So not bad for a 6 cylinder sedan, especially one of a performance level like this. And speaking of performance, I got to give this a 5. Forget about it. I mean, it just this vehicle took off like a top, was definitely a smooth riding vehicle, handled extremely well on highways and everything like that, cornered very well. Just a very, very good riding vehicle altogether, which brings me to the next topic of quality of drive. Once again, I got to give that a 5 car rating. Just super, super strong overall. I mean, just was wonderful. And then finally, when we talk about the overall, on everything here, I got to give it a 5 car rating specifically for everything that it gave me and everything that it did. And, I actually was able to sell it for a little bit more than what I paid for it. So that was also very surprising with respect to just the reliability of the vehicle and everything. So that was one. The Audi and the BMW both were ones that I wish I kept just because they were really great vehicles. But the experiences, I'll keep and treasure forever. But at any rate, so we're going to move on to the next segment. Drop a dime. Thank you guys so much for sending me correspondence through the email. We've got some new subscribers that have since joined since my last time. Just want to go over a couple of things with you guys. The Drop a Dime segment here, we talk about how you can reach me if you have any questions or you want to talk cars or any particular subjects that are something that you would like to see onto the podcast. How you reach that is go to the life of a car guy at gmail.com. So that is the life of a car guy at gmail.com. You send correspondence there right for now while the website is in the beta version and getting upgraded. Okay. Announcements, and this is kind of more for the new subscribers. Just to let you know, we are doing, and I've had people ask me about, donating and contributing to the podcast, to the platform, to the blog, to the website, and the whole 9 yards. And how you do that is you can go to GoFundMe.com. I'm gonna leave this up just for a few seconds. So if you want to scan it and see it, feel free and to do that. Otherwise, you can go to GoFundMe.com and look up Life of a Car Guy. You'll see the inaugural podcast there, kind of starting up and showing who we are, what we do, and just the overall coverage of that. So just so you'll know, one other thing just to make mention, and I want to send a special shout out. Mr. Jeff, thank you very much for your contribution. I did receive it earlier this week, and I just want to tell you thank you. Greatly appreciate it. And that's definitely going towards the podcast as well as everything else within Life of a Car Guy. So, signing off here, guys. Quick homework assignment. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so. Want to continue to grow the content and everything. Also, please reach out to 5 other individuals, have them see the podcast and the blog and the website, have them to like and subscribe to the YouTube page as well. That would greatly appreciate that as well to continue to grow the patronage and the community at large. All right. So, like we always say, this is this thing of ours. We want to open this up to anyone and everyone who is interested in cars and have the passion that we all do about cars. Don't matter what level you are. If you are the highest expert, we would love to hear from you. If you are just getting started and want to know more, we'd love to hear from you too and kind of share with you as well. All right, so we're going to go ahead and close it out, guys. So I appreciate you riding with me. Want to say praise God because He always has got the wheel. And though we may not always agree with each other, it's very important that we love and respect one another. Okay, so stay up. See you on the road.